Hello everybody. I have come up with a new challenge for all of you. I call it the Design Challenge. And what the Design Challenge is meant to do is to help you put together colors that you may not normally see together into an exciting, interesting piece of jewelry. Because the goal here is to do something interesting. We don't want blasé anything, and you don't want blasé anything. So anyway, what I've done is I've gone out into nature because I personally believe that the Creator has done everything beautifully, and if we just open our eyes, we can see what He's done and we'll know what colors to put together. So I've gone out and I've shot some beautiful pictures. It's fall right now here, so I've got beautiful leaves. But then I shot some stuff like concrete and stuff like that that's kind of blasé. But if you really look at the photograph, there are really beautiful nuances of color that will make an interesting piece of jewelry. So the next thing I'm going to do is show you how I personally lay out a project using colored pencils. So if you've got colored pencils, crayons, chalk, these, what do they call, Sharpie markers, gel pens, whatever your mode of operation is fine. I've got all of those. Normally I use colored pencils, sometimes crayons, because I can get a better array of color. But if I'm going to do something that is a huge project, like what I just completed for someone, it was a commission piece and it was pretty large. And this particular person wanted peacock colors. Well, we all know what peacock colors are, and sometimes when you're trying to do a specific style of jewelry, it's kind of hard to mix colors where they look right and authentic, like they're supposed to be there for that challenge. So I will show you a picture of what I did, and then I'm going to also show you the palette, how I laid it out. But for right now, I'm going to show you what I do sometimes to help my brain process what colors are going to look like side by side. It will help you to save a world of undoing and redoing, especially if you got a big project. So grab your colored pencils or whatever it is you have, and I'm going to show you what I do to go through that process. Be back in just a moment. Okay. So I've picked out 4 colors here. I have got a type of red, which is this little thing right here. Then I've got a purple. And I've got a beautiful kind of sky blue. And then just a regular pencil. That's a charcoal color. So I've got those colors to work with. And I just randomly pick something because I'm not really designing something right now. I'm just trying to show you something. Okay, so let's say I've got this color palette in stones or beads or wood or whatever you're using, and you want to see what color patterns look like when you change them before you do it. Because let's face it, if you had this color palette right here, that's a challenge. So, it's a challenge. So what I do normally is, if I'm going to use metals, a lot of times I will use a circle to represent a piece of metal. Sometimes I'll use an X if I have a specific type of bead that's unique. Sometimes I'll use an X. Sometimes I just do dashes like that. Sometimes I just do dots, just a dot. But anyway around, this is no secret code. It's just sometimes I use those to represent different things. Sometimes, you'll have different designs like this for your mind to process something a little better. My husband says if I do dashes, X's, and O's, he's confused. Of course, he does film and video. He would be confused in here. Anyway, he's going to shoot me when he hears that. So he said, can you do one with just dots? You know, just plain dots or just X's like that. I said, yes, I can do that. So we'll start with that first. So let's say you had this color palette up here on the right hand corner, or maybe left on yours, I don't know. But we'll start with an X in blue, and I'm going to do 2 blues, 3 blues. Okay, and then I'm going to change to a red of some color right there. And since red is such a dominant color, I just want a little bit. I'll do 3 more blues, and then I'll do a red, 3 more blues, and I'm just assuming this will be a necklace design. Okay, and then a red. Now let's say I wanted some metal here. I'm going to use this pencil to do that, and I want some metal here. So you can see what that thought would look like if you had blues and reds together. Now let's reverse that. I probably should have had a red right there, so that just shows you. You can see it. All right. Got a little bit of a shadow going here, so let me get down here a little further with this. All right, so let's reverse that pattern. You're going to do your metal bead right there. Well, that's out of focus, isn't it? I don't like that. Okay, and then we'll reverse it. We'll do a blue, 3 reds, 1, 2, 3, another blue, 3 reds, 1, 2, 3, another blue, 3 reds, 2, 3, 1 blue, and a metal piece. So you can see the difference in how the pattern looks versus dominant red versus dominant blue, if that makes sense to you. Okay, so let's do this. Let's take a piece of metal here, and we're going to alternate colors. Red, blue, whoops, red, blue, red, blue, red, blue. Trying to darken my blues here. Red, blue, and then a piece of metal. So that creates a thought, what I call a thought. Okay, so you can see the difference in how the beads lay out as far as color goes, alternating them, dominant blue and then a dominant red. Okay, so let's do this. Let's start with a piece of metal. And when I start with metal like that, this is a thought. This series is a thought. This series is a thought. So let's do another thought. Okay. We're going to throw something in here. Let's do a couple of purple beads. The purple's wanting to fuss at me here. Got a couple of purples. We'll do a blue. Another couple of purples. I don't know why that's not wanting to write. Another blue. Okay, let's do this. Let's throw a piece of metal in there. And then a red. Another piece of metal. And then start your reversing of your pattern again. This thought right here is going to go out this way. Blue. 2 purples. Blue. 2 purples. Okay, so here's your thought. Your red is your centerpiece here. This has become the center bead. Then you have 2 pieces of metal right here because I picked that to represent my metal. All right, then your blue. Then your purples. That's a block of color right there, so we'll do a block right there. Another blue. I hope my camera's not shaking too bad for you guys. I'm sorry if it is. We're going to fix that for this next year. And then we've got another block here of purple. So now you have this thought, and what we're going to do is connect those colors where they touch just a little bit. And this is an even more detailed way of doing it where your colors are touching. And you can actually see the colors as they're touching each other. All right, we'll put a little more dominant red in there. And let's get my metals touching here. All right. So then you can see that block. And you can reverse that any way you want to. Any way you want to. But at least you can see kind of what that color is going to look like together. All right, so the piece that I did, the commission piece that I did, this is how I blocked it for myself. Okay, this was a native southwestern piece of jewelry, pretty large, and I think the picture will be shown here in just a minute, done with peacock colors. Okay, so I knew that I had to have leather here because that's what's holding all of the strands together. So I have leather on each side here. The round pieces are metal, and you can see my code here says metal right there. So that's leather. These pieces right here are bone. Was what I wound up doing, and not wood. I wound up doing bone. And these pieces are bone. You can see they're long. So these are probably 1.5 inch pieces. This right here is about a 1/2 inch piece right here. So that's why I did them the 2 different lengths. Okay, so if you'll notice over here on this ledger, this little line right here between these, that's a crow bead. It's a specific piece of glass bead that's used in a lot of southwestern jewelry. So that's what's going there. These are metal because that's the code I always use for metal. So all of this is metal. All these little round dots. So I've got, actually I used horn here and not bone. This is bone. This was horn. So I've got horn. Okay, let me start over. Metal, leather, metal, horn, metal, a crow bead, glass, metal, bone, metal, another crow bead, and then I've got to this centerpiece where all the blues and things start coming in. So this was my, right here is my ledger right here. That's the crow beads. You can see the daisy is looks like a little flower. Looks like a little flower in the center. So when you come up here, you can see I used my ledger right there just to do that center pattern to make sure that I did not miss a single bead. Because when you start putting these little slivers in like this for light, you can easily miss them. Easily miss them. But if you have your pattern written out here, you'll know that something goes there. Anyway, but that's how I laid out the southwestern piece that I just finished. Be back with you in a moment. Hope you enjoyed that little short tutorial. I'm hoping it made sense to you. It makes perfect sense in my brain because I've done it for years. So if you're new at it, hopefully it helps you. Don't let anything confuse you at all. So if you just go, this is like, I don't have a clue what she's talking about, don't worry about it. Forget about it. Just keep moving. But anyway, the goal is to have better patterns and better color combinations is the goal for the design challenge. I'll be putting some of those up. It will be labeled Design Challenge. So if you do decide to do some of those just to help your creative juices get flowing, please let me know what you come up with, because I would love to see what everybody is doing out there. And always remember, don't compare yourself to somebody else, and not just in jewelry design, but in anything. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. You are one of a kind. There's only one of you. You are the only one that sees things the way that you see them. So whatever you design, be proud of it. Knock yourself out, go for it, and keep moving forward. There's always going to be somebody who can bead circles around you. There's always somebody who can dance circles around you. There's always somebody like me that can drum circles around me. So, but the point is I'm me and you guys are you. So you do you how the Creator has given you to do it. And I am sure that it will be stunning. And I would love to see some things. So, hey, send me some pictures. Anyway, have a great rest of your afternoon. Blessings.